Hey folks, welcome to episode 9 of this Hammarlund 129X. And as you can see, today we're working on the cabinet, which is in some bad shape right here. The rest of the cabinet's fine. There's a little bit of rust around, which I'll take care of. But this area here had something dripping on it. It was like mud, and it was like greasy. It almost felt like maybe acid or battery acid. But this is the third coat of navel jelly that I'm putting on it, and we're going to let it sit for 15 minutes each time. I'm not going to go more than that. And what I do is after I put it on, it's been on now for about 10 minutes. I just take this wire brush and just kind of move it around, try to loosen up any of that rust that I can. I've actually gotten rid of a lot of it already, but on this I want to make sure I get this all the way out. And after I do that, obviously I'm going to prime the entire box and then paint it. Now I don't see a lot of texture on this thing. There is a little bit of a powder coat texture. So when I paint it, I may use one of those textured paints, like I think Rust-Oleum makes like a hammered type finish. So we'll have to see. We got some time to worry about that. So what we're doing here is just kind of moving it around, and you can see a lot of the rust is coming off. I'm just going to let this sit a little bit longer. The main thing with navel jelly is you can't let it dry. If you do let it dry by accident, all you got to do is add more, let it get wet again. I'm going to put just a little bit more on here. Okay. There is a couple of spots inside that I have to hit up, but they're relatively small and they're going to be just one type applications. But this is where we are. Okay, and as you can see, we're outside today, so we're doing a little road trip on the series. This is my yard. Pretty nice. All fenced in for Bentley the Beagle. And as you can see, it's a beautiful day today. So that's what we're doing. I had to bring this thing outside and hose it off. The inside was just full of dirt, bugs. I don't know where, obviously it was stored in the barn. So, I expected some dirt in there. But bring it outside, hose it off, just make sure there's no puddles of water in there, make sure it has a good chance to dry. And then you can start working on the finish and the colors. The imperfections and the rust and all that, and get it off. And that's where we are. So we're going to let this sit for a little bit longer, and I'll come back and show you where we are. Be back. Okay, it's about 15 minutes later. Let's see how we're doing. Some of this is really, really pitted down there. The thing with this stuff is you got to take your time, right? Whenever you're going to refinish a cabinet like this, the prep is the most important thing. If you try to rush, you're going to get a crap job. And I'm not really looking to have a crap job on this thing. I'm putting a lot of work and effort into this radio, and I want to have something that's going to be real nice when it's done. So we're going to take our time, and we're going to let the navel jelly do its job. We're going to continue to let it soak. I think what I'm going to do here is rinse it off and then put on a fresh batch. So let's do that. Okay, you can see what we have here. We're getting close. We're getting real close. So we're going to take this brush and we're going to try to loosen up some of this here. And you can see it's coming off a little bit. It's a little hazy over there. Right over here is it's kind of that muddy stuff that I was telling you about. It kind of breaks down into a mud type substance, brown mud. Let's rinse that off. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're getting real close now. We're gonna put another, we got some deep pits here. We're gonna dry that off. Like this. Get this water off the top. Okay. And we're gonna put some more of the old jelly on there. Put a lot in that area where that mud was. And we're just going to let it hang out, do its job, not going to rush it, just like that. And we're going to let it sit for 20 minutes. I'll come back. One thing I'm going to do, by the way, when I finally get this clean, is I am going to just give it a shot of this flat Rust-Oleum, because the rust will come back pretty quick. So anything that I'm able to de-rust like this, I'm going to give it a shot of this, and then when I do the final finish, I'm going to use a primer, etc. That's a little trick you could do just to make sure it doesn't rust up on you again. I'll be back in about 20. Okay, 20 minutes have passed. Let's see what happens. Let's see how much we got here. I think there's a little bit more that has to go here. We're going to go for another 15 minutes. This stuff is pretty deep. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, we've got this thing in pretty good shape at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a quick coat of this Rust-Oleum on it just to protect it. And then I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do with the cabinet from a primer perspective and from a paint perspective. So let's give this thing a quick shot. And again, this is just to protect the metal so it doesn't rust up again. Little goes a long way. There you go. That'll keep that nice and clean. It won't rust up again. And I'm just going to hit a couple of other spots here that I use the navel jelly on, just to make sure that they don't rust up. And there you have it. So now I'm ready to start thinking about what I'm going to do for my final coat. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so here's where we are. I've de-rusted the entire case, and I've actually given the entire thing a coat of that flat black Rust-Oleum. And you can see it looks pretty darn good already. You know, it's just got a base coat just to protect it after getting all that rust off. So, so what we're going to do now is we're going to try to use this. This is Rust-Oleum Hammered Paint and Primer in one, and it's black, and it's not glossy, and it'll give me a textured look, I hope, and it'll help that top, which has obviously the pitting and the rust. So let me give it a shot, and I'll come back and show you how it works. Okay, be right back. All right, I did this this top cover. It's going to be hard for you to see it, I think, but it did add a nice texture to the top. I like it. I'm going to let it dry, and we'll see how it comes out. I think it's going to work. I may end up top coating it with flat black again. I have to see if I like this color. I think it's a little too light, but the texture is the thing that I'm going for here. So let's see how that works, and I'll let you know. Okay, I painted this with that hammered paint, and I'm pretty happy with the result. It's still wet, so you're going to see some slick spots here, but it's hard to see because I'm outside and there's a little bit of glare. But you could see that I was able to get some texture here on the top, which is exactly what I was looking for. And I've actually applied it all the way around, and I've got some nice looking texture here. So it looks old. That's what I'm going for. But it's clean and it's rust free. So pretty happy with the way this went. We're going to let this thing dry very, very well for the next 24 hours. And then we'll see what it looks like. Worst case scenario, if I don't like the actual color, I can always just put a flat black on it. But this hammered paint almost has a gray tinge to it, which I like because that faceplate is gray. So I think it's going to match really, really well. So I'm going to end the video here and put it up for you to see it. But that hammered paint seems to have done the trick and was able to cover up this area here where I had that big rust and pitting. Barely recognizable unless you knew it was there. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, that's it for this episode. See you next time. This is Ron. It's a beautiful day here in Florida, by the way. Beautiful sky. I know you guys are getting some storms out there in Arkansas and Ohio. Be careful. Indiana. Be careful, guys. We'll see you.